Hello Internet, I'm Dan.
And I'm Chaz, and this is Wine is Serious Business, episode
241.
Thanks for remembering that because we didn't even talk about it ahead of time. So
Why not? Yeah.
it's the middle of summer. Really wanted to drink some white wine for our next show. Was kind of inspired to do some Chardonnays based off of this bottle of Ayoub that I found at a local supermarket.
This is a sweet deal. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so Zupan sends out local like coupons to everyone saying, they're for various things. For like meat, you buy 1 pound, get 1 pound free,
Sure.
whatever. This one was spend $50, get $10 off, or get $10 off a $50 purchase. So this bottle of Ayoub happened to be $49, so I went in there and bought some groceries and bought this bottle of Ayoub. Really wanting to do it on the show, or actually just wanted to drink it, because I've really enjoyed Ayoub's Pinots in the past.
Yeah?
And never got to have a Chardonnay for
I don't know if I have or either. I have or not either. Part of me thinks that I have, but I don't have memories of it, so this is a good time to get into it.
So I don't even know which one we should start with.
I'm going to start here, I think, because it's about half the price, and I'm guessing that it's going to be a little lighter. So this is the Evesham Puits 2012,
Yep.
a wine that we try out every year. I'm always very excited to try it, and not necessarily because it's the best Chardonnay every year.
Mm-hmm.
Some years it's not so great, or it's decent. Some years it's decent wine, but that's about it. Other years it's the best QPR Chardonnay on the market.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
And so, we're looking for that. And there's such a tiny amount of it made that when you love it, you gotta move on it and get it while you can.
Yeah, and wasn't it like 2008 that we did with Bo back in the Wine Bloggers Conference 2010? It had to have been the
8 or the 9, yeah.
And it was just the best $20 bottle of Chardonnay I think I've ever consumed. So
Yeah, I believe it. Well, it's the only wine we've done on the show like twice during the current vintage, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another one. I don't remember the exact vintage, but there was another one, maybe the 10 or something that I thought was just on point.
Mm-hmm. So if you have the ability to purchase some, it's gone up in price a little bit. It's at $24 at Vinopolis before we picked it up. You're going to see it in your local supermarkets up near the mid to high 20s. But we'll see whether it's...
Yeah, we used to be able to get it for sub 20. Honestly, that was kind of too good to be true. So I don't even hold it against them for raising the price. The wine's easily that good. So
whoa. All right, yeah, let's go ahead.
Cool nose. A little bit of like tart green apple, golden apple, a little bit of gooseberry in there, I think. A little bit of oak showing up.
Totally a little bit of oak, but I don't think it detracts from the wine at all.
No,
there's definitely like the malolactic feel can be sense in the nose. It's a little touch buttery, but the fruit is definitely over the top of everything there. Getting something almost like a salted cantaloupe or something out of it. It's just like a touch of like something almost salty to it, like almost saline-y.
Sure.
Really, I don't know, smells pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah,
right?
I'm into it too.
Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah. The integration and balance on this is in a great spot already. There's a good sense of richness there. I think some of it's probably from the oak.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a little bit of Lee's character going on in here
Totally,
too.
yeah.
That kind of brings some roundness to it, but the acidity is still full and really clean.
Mm-hmm. And the Lee's characteristics provide like a little bit of like almost texture, like tannic texture. There's like almost a little bit of tannic texture to the way the finish is.
Yeah, totally.
And the fruit initially starts off warm and inviting, sort of like round, warm Chardonnay fruit. A little bit of the oak presence is there, adding a little bit of richness. But then as the wine kind of closes up, there's this burst of fresh, like green fruit or something. I'm really kind of, maybe like even green, like just grapes. But that with that texture and the way the acidity kind of comes in on it is really nice. Like it provides a good experience in the mouth. Sort of lighter bodied.
Definitely.
Like the alcohol level here is low, 12.5 listed on the label.
Sure.
So it's definitely not a heavy wine by any means, but it has good intensity throughout. So it's not strong intensity, just sort of somewhere in the middle.
I think it's got a good range of flavor on it too. I think it really kind of fills the palate. It's got that bright acidic character. It's got kind of like some lemons, limes, like the crisp green apple. There's not a lot of like the rich, big, ripe fruit going on here. This is definitely like
a little bit on the sides when you first start drinking it, but not much afterwards.
Like nothing tropical, I don't think.
No, no. In a long mid-palate length, a lot of time to really think about the wine. This is really yeah. So they have to bleep me.
There you go.
Sorry.
There you go. Yeah.
But yes, it's really delicious. So
and a little delicate too. I definitely like when I took some bigger sips or whatever. I'm not really getting the best of it. I think like the small sips, give a chance to think about it, really get some of the nuance that's going on there. The best stuff's coming out.
Mm-hmm. As I take more sips really quickly, the acid is very strong. Really kind of coats the tongue and the cheeks, hangs around for a long time.
It gets a little sharp.
A little sharp. Fast. Yep. So definitely one to sort of savor. I would maybe either age it a year or pair with some food right now.
A little bit of cheese and crackers, I think, would be really, really nice
Killer.
with this. Yeah.
Yep.
Not blowing my top, not one of the best ones I've had, but still in a really good spot. I'm going to go 89 points. I could see it getting a little better too. While I feel it's pretty well integrated right now, I think a lot of wines, like after they're released, the flavors kind of come up a little bit after they've been in bottle for a little while. I can see that working for this real well.
I totally agree with what Dan just said. I think another year in bottle, this wine will be truly special. Like it's already integrated and delicious, and it's providing so much complex flavor. But the acid is just a little overwhelming here. Really grippy in the finish, but I can't deny how delicious and how just pretty this wine is. 90 points, 90 plus. I would like 90 shooting for the future. I think this is at $24 still an absolute buy. Killer.
Yeah. Certified organic, and for those of you who don't know too, the Puits is the estate vineyard. A while ago they had more Chardonnay, but they tore some out to put more Pinot Noir, and they just kept this tiny block. So I'd be surprised if it's distributed outside of Oregon at all. If you don't live in Oregon and want some, call around your favorite retailers, call the winery, see where they send it to.
Exactly.
And move on it, because this isn't something that you can pick up in 3 months.
Nope.
So
yeah, it's definitely like talk to Vinopolis, talk to other local wine shops that get Evesham wood wines.
Yeah.
Because there's a very small allocation to everyone even in the city, and then it's gone. So.
Yep.
All right. So
wine number 2.
So
Princeton.
This is the Ayoub 2012. It's got something funny on the front label. Dundee Hills and Willamette Valley.
Sure. I think that's for national marketing, right? If somebody's never heard of Dundee Hills, they're more likely to know Willamette Valley.
That makes sense, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So. Not really much to say about it other than that. Very simple label.
Yeah. So Ayoub's been around for I don't know, I feel like maybe 10 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not one of the older ones, but also not brand new either. I think he was originally a semiconductor guy, maybe even still, like he worked with semiconductor manufacturing equipment. Started doing a winemaking project as well.
Right.
And we've had some great Pinot Noirs from him.
God, he makes good Pinot.
One or two of them have been on the show. We've had really good experiences with. Definitely pushing the upper end of the price range. Like I think you're starting at 40 or 50, but some of them deliver. And they're not huge quantities of those either. So it's fun to try when we get a chance. I'm excited to try this. Way more golden apple here. I think less like bright zippy fruit than this has.
Yeah, this is. Man, maybe it's too cold or something. But these are the same temperature. They should be almost the same
close.
temperature. I pulled them right out of the fridge.
It doesn't feel colder in the glass. You're not getting as much on the nose?
No, the nose is definitely a little more muted than the Evesham wood. The Evesham wood had a little more to say.
I'm getting a little bit of oak here, but not as much of the lazy character. I agree.
No.
Not quite as much complexity on the nose, but but still pleasant. Still nice.
Yeah, it's sort of like the golden apple, maybe just like a hint of like pineapple juice or something, like just a hint of pineapple, like fresh pineapple.
See that?
But yeah, it's really light. So, yeah. Definitely a little more texture in the mouth. Like this is kind of branching towards the range of heavier in the mouth. Like there's a lot more, almost like a heavy blanket as opposed to a sheet. You know, like the Evesham wood. The Evesham wood was like the blanket you keep in between the comforter and the sheet, and this is like the comforter, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little fuller,
Definitely
a little weightier.
Definitely a little more oak here. I don't think it's really over the top. You can still taste the fruit and everything, but just as a point of contrast, it feels like there's a little more on this. It lingers. That oak lingers with the fruit on the palate too. I think the yellow apples from the nose deliver pretty straightforward on the palate.
I agree. That it definitely is apple fruited. I'm still getting a little bit of like fresh cut pineapple on the palate. Maybe that's partly the influence of the oak too. There's like a little bit of richness that's sort of going on the sides of the cheeks. The acid kind of shoots straight down the tongue. It's not this overwhelming blanket like or I shouldn't say overwhelming, this blanket of acid like the Evesham would.
Definitely more moderate, yeah.
Yeah, definitely more moderate. Easier to drink sort of in that regard. But more straightforward on the palate. The fruit flavors don't have near the complexity. But still, this is delicious, right? Like there's an undeniably delicious quality about that. There's good richness, there's good fruit, there's good acid. They're all, well, I wouldn't call the integration great. They're all well balanced, all kind of in the same place. Not saying where that is entirely. I'm not exactly sure. Anyway,
This definitely has a softer feel on the palate, for sure. Definitely a little less acidity, and I think, you know, you can just kind of vary with personal style there. I think different people would gravitate to different ones based on the mouthfeel. I feel like the overall intensity is pretty comparable.
Yeah.
Though, right? Like none of the flavors like really jump out in your face. Like everything's pretty subtle, right? They're pretty well integrated.
I mean, this is nice.
I don't know where they're released.
This is really, I mean, to be honest, so this is where it's kind of stumping me. Like, it feels like a nice wine. It's got great, I mean, it's got great mouthfeel.
I'm glad you said it. I was trying to figure out how to get.
The flavors are pure and delicious. They're rich, but it's just not that interesting. I don't know. Like, it doesn't have a lot to say. It's more like this. I'd be really happy taking to a picnic, where this is going to be easy to understand and easy to drink. That said, when I'm spending this much money, I kind of expect a little more.
Yep.
But like, it's really good still. Like, I like it. It's just expensive and not complex.
I think there's not that complexity that I really look for either. I think like we were talking about the acidity being a little more moderate. This has a good like fuller mouthfeel. It kind of tastes like its price point in that sense. And I think this is when people use the term well made. A lot of time that's like a euphemism for wine I don't like. I don't, this is I think an example of where that's really a worthwhile thing to say, right? Like the pieces are put together really well.
Totally.
I'm just looking for some flavors that aren't there. At the very end, I'm getting a little bit of that tropical hint.
Right.
Yeah, like real late. And I think, I think it'd serve you well.
80, like we're talking 87 plus, 88 points for me.
Sure. Yeah, 88 for me for sure. If boy, and I don't mean to like diminish it really too much either. It's delicious. If it was open, I'd pour myself multiple glasses.
Yeah, I'll drink it, no problem.
So,
it's really good.
Solid stuff. But yeah, at that price point, I look for a little more complexity, and that narrows in on kind of everybody's taste being different. So
absolutely. So that's really it. Question of the day: what are you drinking for summer right now? That's a sort of an easy one.
Summer wine.
Champagne rosé for me. Yeah.
Ooh, really? Wow.
Rosé champagne.
We're in a new apartment. He must be saving a lot of money with the new place if he's drinking rosé champagne regularly.
Yeah, well, not regularly. Not regularly. Whenever I can. But Jerusha likes to drink champagne, so been buying them as I can and trying out as many new ones as I possibly can. So yeah.
Yeah, Riesling's kind of my go-to thing for the summer. I like checking out some rosés as they come and go. Teutonics this year. I've been really down with. Rosé's been such a weird wine for me. Is like I developed my favorites for a lot of different wines throughout Oregon. I don't think there's a single rosé that I can say I want to drink this every year and I've loved it every year. They all kind of go through waves.
No, it's true.
Like I have some, they're just magical one year, and the next year they're good. They're all right. I don't have a problem with it. Plenty of people make solid rosés, but man, I don't know if it's the Saignée or just how the fruit comes in or the choices people make, but it's much more of a gamut, so it's more fun.
I agree. So anyway, well, tell us what you guys are drinking, and we'll see you guys next time.
Cheers.